Good morning.
So first, let's talk a little bit. I mean, you heard from that mom there. I think a lot of families and parents struggle with that whole feeling of, what's best for the family and what really is going to work for us. And I think even more so now, a lot of families are facing that. So talk a little bit about what you're seeing locally.
Yes, absolutely. What we are seeing is this can be a family's highest bill, sometimes higher than their mortgage or rent payment. And we're seeing families struggle whether or not to stay in the workforce or have one parent stay home. And typically it is the mom staying home with the children. And so we are losing our workforce due to this situation.
And so what would be the answer to that, Anne-Marie? I mean, what are parents to do? I mean, that is such a hard decision, and yet you don't want to struggle financially. You don't want your kids and your family not to have things that you need to sustain your life. What can change?
Yes, absolutely. I think what we're seeing is our business sector and our state government is very interested in making sure that we have a viable workforce. And by doing that, we need to make sure that child care providers are supported so that it's a reasonable expense and that we have funds coming in to help families and help child care providers stay open to keep our economy open.
Talk a little bit about the work that you guys are doing there over at First Steps.
Yeah, since the pandemic hit last March, we've been working with child care providers throughout the county to make sure they have everything they need to stay open, or we coordinate their access to some of the funds that have become available through either CARES Act dollars or now more stimulus funds coming into the state. And we see that it's essential to keep our economy going to make sure that the profession of childcare providers is supported.
Do you have any kind of a gauge on those childcare providers who've actually had to maybe close their doors due to the pandemic, and or are those still, I guess, fighting to stay open?
Yeah, great question. I think at a national level, we're seeing about 30% having to close because they, aren't able to stay open. And that's why we kicked into gear here in Kent County to help support the child care providers who were really struggling to stay open. And in our state, we do see about a 30% drop off of child care providers that are able, not able to stay open.
And it's tough too because those child care providers are obviously, I mean, you're pretty much working around the clock, especially if you're doing an in-home or something like that. And so they want to make it affordable for families, but they also have to sustain what they're doing. I guess what would your best piece of advice be for, families who are just feeling lost right now on where to turn next when it comes to this?
Yeah, there are options out there to help. We have opportunities to work with our business sector to understand that childcare has to be supported and the costs have to come down. And we are seeing that happen with the most recent American Rescue Plan, that we are going to have dollars in our state that go toward childcare. And this is going to help families tremendously. It's going to be able to add between 100 and 150,000 more families to be able to access childcare.
Very good. Anne-Marie, thanks for your time this morning. We appreciate it.